In this review video, we're going to quickly talk about graphing lines. So one of the methods that can help us save time with graphing is we know it's a linear function. So a linear function just means there's nothing kind of interesting happening with the x. Mostly it's just like being multiplied by a number. But in our simplest form, y equals mx plus b, m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. When we're talking about slope and graphs, just remember slope is rise over run. So I want to graph this function. The first thing I say is y equals mx plus b. So I'm in my nice slope-intercept form. And the first thing I'm going to do is put my y-intercept 1 on my graph. Now the next thing, I can use my slope. The slope is negative 2 over 3. So the negative means I'm going to go down 2. And the 3 means I go run right 3. And that gives me another point on my line. And the nice thing with lines is once you have those 2 points, you just connect them and you get your final answer. So this purple line is the graph of that line. So we always want linear equations in the form y equals mx plus b because we can graph it like we just saw in that example. It doesn't take very long. 1 point, move it over by the slope. If it's not in y equals mx plus b, you can always get it in y equals mx plus b because you just have to get the y by itself. So if you solve for y, it's pretty much guaranteed to be in y equals mx plus b form. So here, the y's and x's are jumbled together on one side. It's definitely not y equals mx plus b. So we're going to get this y by itself first. So I'm going to move the 2x to the other side by subtracting 2x from both sides. I still have this 4y instead of just y, so I have to divide everything by 4. This step, students mess up a lot. Maybe you have to divide both things on the right by 4, so it should look like this. There shouldn't be an 8 over here because you'll also have to divide that by 4. And now I can graph this. I have the point 2 as my y-intercept. I'm going to go down 1 over 2 using my slope, and then I connect it to make my line. So if you recognize it's a linear equation, kind of nothing fancy is happening with x, solve for y, and graph it using the y equals mx plus b method. We still have a few other things to talk about with graphing, so review those and then go ahead and attempt the practice page.